familiar sight of an Aer Lingus jumbo jet bringing to Ireland visitors from many parts of the world. On this flight is a group of students from America. They're attached to the School of International Training in Vermont, and the purpose of their visit is to immerse themselves in the culture of Ireland by living with the people and studying the customs and values of the country. The students come from many different parts of America: New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, California, and many other states. Each student has a particular project to pursue. Their visit will be for a full semester, during which each of the students will live for a period with an Irish family and so become involved in a practical way with the life of the country. The families chosen will come from different walks of life, thus giving the student a varied view of life here. After leaving the airport, the members of the group get their first view of Dublin from the bus, which will take them to Kilkenny, where they will meet their host family and begin their program. Each group travels under the leadership of a qualified academic director, in this case, Carol Burden. Carol is naturally a little concerned that everything will go smoothly, but in the friendly atmosphere of Ireland, she has little to worry about. In addition, the group has received a 3-day orientation in the United States prior to departure for Ireland. These are some of the houses where the students will be staying. Diane is going to the Phelan farm outside Kilkenny. She is driven from the town by Mrs. Phelan's daughter and is greeted on arrival by the family in true Céad Míle Fáilte style. The farm is 150 acres of good soil in one of the most fertile areas of Ireland. And although it is small by comparison with America, it is considered to be a good amount of land for an Irish farmer. Methods of land cultivation have improved immensely on Irish farms over the last 2 decades. The family is regarded by many as the centerpiece of Irish life, and the gathering together of everyone for the evening meal is a daily ritual. At the table, Diane sits beside Breda, Owen, and their charming hostess, Mrs. Phelan. As part of her introduction to the Irish way of life, Diane helps with the washing up. Part of the program, too, is milking the cows. Although now modernized by machinery, it is still a new experience for the student. When she returns home, she can also write with practical knowledge of seed setting. This is the city of Kilkenny, a city of narrow, winding streets and ancient buildings. A combination of the old world aspect with the progressiveness of a busy, modern town. Donna is another member of the group. Kilkenny is firmly rooted in Irish history and was the seat of many parliaments, notably the Great Confederation of 1642, an independent Irish parliament which functioned for 6 years. It is also an important market centre. A particular place of interest to the students are the Kilkenny Design Workshops. The function of the workshops is to produce new designs and to design new products. These are based on old as well as new Celtic arts. Of course, the student is not confined to studying and sightseeing. There are plenty of recreation facilities. A very popular sport in Ireland at the moment is pitch and putt, and here Donna shows off her expertise. St. Canice's Cathedral at the northern end of the city dates from the 13th century. It was founded by St. Canice, or as he was sometimes known, St. Kenny, from which Kilkenny got its name. Then there is Kilkenny Castle, a magnificent structure in a commanding position overlooking the River Nore. Built in the early 13th century, it was the residence of the Butler family, distinguished landowners in the county. Like many towns in Ireland, Kilkenny is built on a river, in this case called the Nore. Salmon and trout fishing are very popular sports on the river as it winds its way through the countryside. As well as being a popular fishing river, it has other uses. The swift-flowing water turns the old wheel of Liam Brett's sawmill. This is one of the oldest wheels of its type in the country. Like all cities in Ireland, Kilkenny has its crest of arms. So too has Dublin, the capital of the Emerald Isle. In Dublin, the students' academic program begins in earnest. Pete, who is from California, spent a lot of time in the National Library collecting data for his project on politics. And conveniently situated beside the library is Leinster House, seat of the Irish government. Dublin, like other capitals in the world, is developing and modernizing itself. But still, it fights desperately to retain its famous 18th century Georgian architecture. Another fine sample of good architecture is the Four Courts, one of the principal houses of justice in Ireland. The Custom House also holds its own beside the modern building on its left. The streets of Dublin, the scene of many events in Ireland's fight for freedom. Places like St. Stephen's Green, where during the 1916 Easter Rising, the citizen army fought under the leadership of Commandant Michael Mallon and the Countess Markovich. Today, only the plaques remain as a reminder of the battle. The Green, as it is called, is renowned for a quiet morning stroll before entering the busy shopping area of Grafton Street. For a night out in Dublin, full recommendation goes to a good ballad session.
And the ocean waves to roll, and the stormy winds to blow, and we poor sailors are skipping at the top, while the landlubbers lie down below, 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 while the landlubbers lie down below.
Now up spoke the captain of our gallant ship, and a fine-spoken man was he. This fishy fair maid has warned us of our doom. We shall sing to the bottom of the sea.
And the ocean waves to roll, and the stormy winds to blow, living at the top, while the landlubbers lie down below, 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 while the landlubbers lie down below.
An important part of the program is area field studies. Today, the group is going to Avoca, then to Glendalough and Monaster Boyce, each with a fame of beauty and legend.
We're coming into Avoca now, where a man called Thomas Moore, famous Irish poet, lyricist, songwriter, great friend of Robert Emmet's, and he has written, among others, The Last Rose of Summer, but this is his most popular song here in Ireland. It's called The Sweet Vale of Avoca. There is not in this wide world a valley so sweet as that vale in whose bosom the bright waters meet, where the last rays of evening and I must depart, ere that bloom of that valley shall fade from my heart.
Monaster Boyce was one of the early monastic sites, and it is famed for its high crosses. In 968, it was taken over by the Vikings, but they were soon routed by Donal, who was then king of Tara. Muiredach's cross, one of the finest of early Irish crosses. These type of crosses are essentially picture books of scriptural stories. They include the arrest of Christ, Christ and doubting Thomas, and of the crucifixion. By now, the group has entered the third month of its program in Ireland. On satisfactory completion of the program, students earn credits at their home college or university. The program organizers meet with the students periodically to assess their progress and to smooth out any problems the students may be encountering.
Different structures of the two, of myth and folk tale. What I'll be handing in at the end will be an annotated bibliography of the books that I've been reading, a journal, and a paper. And I think at this point that the paper will be divided into three major divisions. One would be an explanation of how I went about the topic, because it is a little bit confusing. I mean, I did ramble an awful lot, not really knowing where I was heading, knowing mythology and folk tale, but just, see, when I came, I thought that the mythology was much more distinct than it is. I just didn't really realize how much it's impossible to distinguish between mythology and early Irish literature. So that I sort of got into a big problem at that point.
Carol, as academic director, explains the value of this unique program.
The Cultural Studies Seminar attempts to answer the questions raised while the students are living with their families in the homestay community or traveling in Ireland. They're briefed on the political scene, the economic structure, the social life of the country by people who are actively working in the field, such as journalists, university professors, TV producers, lawyers, priests, or research scientists. The result of the seminar is that students often find new areas of knowledge which they can relate to their own special interest. As well as this, they have a wide range of personal contacts which they can use when they start to research their individual study projects which have been approved by their home universities.
Ireland can certainly boast of its array of poets and writers. Here, John McKeown lectures on W.B. Yeats.
Yeats was very conscious of the fact that he was not Irish, or at least his family were not Irish. They were what we call ascendancy stock. That is, they had come to Ireland originally from England, and therefore he felt always, as did certain other Anglo-Irish writers, that he was not part of the Gaelic scene, as it were. And for him, therefore, the Irish language and Irish native culture had a certain fascination. And all through his work, you find references to, say, names from early Irish mythology, even to the place names of Ireland, many of which, of course, are changed forms of the original Gaelic names. I hesitate to use the word corrupted forms because they have not been corrupted. They have simply changed with the passage of time. In Yeats's work, you find frequent reference to the place names of County Sligo in particular, the county in which he had spent a great deal of his youth. And the place names there and the people of Sligo had a particular fascination for him. They had about them a certain mystique and, I suppose, a certain musical ring which appealed to his poet's ear as well.
Where the wandering water gushes from the hills above Glencar, in pools among the rushes that scarce could bathe a star, we seek for slumbering trout, and whispering in their ears give them unquiet dreams, leaning softly out from ferns that drop their tears over the young streams. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Under bare Ben Bulbin's head, in Drumcliff churchyard, Yeats is laid. An ancestor was rector there long years ago. A church stands near, by the road an ancient cross. No marble, no conventional phrase. On limestone quarried near the spot, by his command, these words are cut. Cast a cold eye on life, on death. Horsemen pass by.
Every country has its customs and its values. Ireland too has these, but we hope that the students who spent this semester in Ireland found something else, and that they and many more will come again to this island of green on the shelf of Europe.